Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the first episode of the Kings of Content podcast.
What up, fellas?
What up, what up? What's going on, Corey?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good, man. We've had a pretty interesting last week because celebrated author, actress, Rogaine ambassador, Jada Pinkett Smith. I might get slapped for making a alopecia joke. I take it back. I'm joking. No, so Jada Pinkett Smith, after what was a roller coaster of incidents, has come out with a book detailing and outlining her experiences being married to Will Smith. I'm sure there's a lot more in her book than just that. But she's gone on a book tour for it and a press tour for it. And at pretty much every step of the way on her press tour, she has thrown her husband, her situationship man, I don't even know how to describe it, under the bus. To give everybody context, I'm sure everyone's already aware, but Will Smith won the most prestigious award you can win as an actor, which is the Best Actor Oscar. After what, 2 decades, maybe 2 decades plus of being an actor? And on that, and people forget, this all happened on the night where he actually won the Oscar. Mm-hmm. But prior to winning the Oscar, he lost his temper, went and slapped Chris Rock in the face at the Oscars. And then all kinds of shit ensued after. And Will Smith has kind of been quiet about it. Chris Rock came out shortly after, and not shortly after, but he came out and did his own stand-up special and kind of roasted them pretty savage.
Remember he waited a year and then he roasted them?
He waited a year.
He didn't say a thing for a year.
He didn't say a thing for a year.
Yeah.
And for Will Smith, like, super, like, dude, just looking at it now, it's like, how did this happen?
It's crazy.
It's crazy, but incredibly embarrassing. Like, imagine 20 years of your life dedicated to a craft, and on your crowning achievement night, this is what happens.
It's nuts.
Right? Against, by the way, like, I don't know if they're necessarily friends, but like a peer. Not that Chris Rock is an actor on the level, Chris Rock is a comedian, but also an actor and a producer, etc. Mm-hmm. But like, against somebody that should be an ally. Now, everybody was talking about leading up to this, the crazy shit that had happened with Will and Jada, about Jada having a relationship with their son's friend, August, called it a situationship. And now she's coming out and kind of telling her story. And I guess to get a clip of this so we can see.
Before we go into that, I just found this new angle the other day that someone like didn't release yet, or for some reason it just got found. Have you seen this yet?
Oh, it's from one of the actors in the the seats. That's nuts.
Have you seen this yet or no? All right, so you want to watch this real quick?
Yeah.
Jada's reaction.
The bitch laughed?
So she laughed when he said, what did he say when he sat down, Will sat down?
Action.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
No. So Chris said, like, slap the shit out of me.
Look at Jada's
and then she laughed
reaction.
and didn't even look at Will when he sat down.
I think she said that she thought it was a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is this is your husband. For how long have they been together? Like, you can't tell.
It's a bit. They're not a bit.
And you can't tell when he's like unhinged.
She didn't even look at him when he came back to like check his reaction or like check on him at all. She just like staring at Chris the entire time. Like, didn't want to break eye contact.
From this back angle, do you know what she looks like here? She looks like, who's the villain in Austin Powers?
Oh, Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil. She looks like Dr. Evil. Like I feel like that's her, like laughing at like, my husband just ruined his career. Funny.
So the way she acts or looks. Or both. All right, let's go to the next clip. All right, ready?
Yep.
There are so many surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
yes,
y'all have been
What's funny?
apart.
Yeah.
She laughed the entire time. You saw that, right?
Fucking Dr. Evil, bro.
Seriously, yeah. The entire time. Was there more?
So now that's good. Yeah, that's good there. So as you see, Jada is telling her side of the story. It's a flattering way to say it, right? Now, What's reaction been like to this? Well, let's take a look at a clip from Stephen A. Smith, who is a sports media personality and a sports broadcaster. Here's his take.
Unless, of course, Will Smith's your man. Because evidently when Will Smith is your man, you can get away with anything. I mean, Jesus. This dude. I might as well apologize to Jada over the last couple of shows. I mean, she writing books. She talking about how y'all weren't together for the last 7 years. She talking about how sex wasn't really an option with y'all. She got her children craving for Tupac's resurrection. She damn near talked about your lack of an erection.
Right,
I mean, this is not me.
Man. Yeah, this is,
all right.
It's getting dirty.
Brutal. So there's so much to unpack and there's so many issues. So Corey, first thing that kind of comes to mind is, here is a celebrity couple. At one point, Will Smith was considered the biggest Hollywood movie star, right? Now think about, personally for us, and then everyone like in the audience watching this, think about like the most hurtful maybe relationship that you've had. Maybe when you were younger, like heart got broken, you felt embarrassed. It was something where like you're almost even kind of hurt and ashamed to look back on it. To see this now happen with two adults, incredibly talented, especially in the case of Will Smith, and of course Jada's talented too. Like here are two, like the issues between men and women, the ability to have a healthy relationship, and most of all, being alpha versus beta as a man has nothing to fucking do with your level of celebrity, has nothing to do with the money that you have. Those things are just facets of life. Look at someone here who has everything that they would ever need in terms of status. Like how much bigger status can you have than Will Smith? And then look what's going on behind the scenes. Does this not, in your opinion, just completely reinforce the fact that human psychology is human psychology, that evolutionary psychology is evolutionary psychology, and the dynamic between men and women is timeless?
Yeah, 100%. It's I feel like it's very hidden, especially in Hollywood with these dynamics. But like Will Smith, like you just said, huge. Like one of the top actors ever. Isn't his claim to fame like he would study the people, the roles, and like pick apart what they would do the best and then work on it for himself? Like he had this whole like strategy of like how he became like amazing actor. 350 million net worth, has it all. Every single person in the country, if not world, knows Will Smith and his name. Like you just said, you're still susceptible to beta male, alpha male.
Susceptible.
How you act, how your mindset, literally your mindset, is how females will treat you. No matter how much status, money, all this stuff you have.
Yeah, it's your inability, because here's the thing that at least a lot of men, but honestly, if you look at what people's reaction has been, women as well, the thing that they're really upset about, and you can hear it in Stephen A's voice, it's the inability for Will to set boundaries and limits. And that's why like status is, I mean, we're the biggest practitioners of this. Like you need to have status to attract women, but like that's attracting women. Boundaries, limits is a huge sign of a healthy, mature human being, not specifically, but definitely for men as well. And the inability to set boundaries and limits without knowing all the details of their relationship. And God, I don't even want to know the fucking details of the relationship. Please spare us at this point from the fucking details of the relationship. Yep. And that's the ultimate boundary crossing here, because at the end of the day, like, you know, she's trying to sell books. This is a money grab.
Yeah.
And like, good for her. She's trying to make money out of the situation. Chris Rock did it. So like, let's not knock her for trying to make money, but we can knock her for trying to make money at the expense of crossing personal boundaries with her partner. Even if it's not your partner anymore, like, God damn.
Yeah. And it's this contempt, duper's delight, shame of the beta male. Look how happy she is to say she's been divorced for 7 years on national TV
evil.
To promote. Like, do you see disdain for him, for Will, to be able to laugh at him at his expense, even though he's clearly like affected and whipped, wrapped around the finger, whatever you want to call it. But even in the comments, like you said, for this YouTube video, Jada's the perfect example of how the wrong person can ruin your life. They're calling her narcissist. Pretty much everyone is on the side with Will.
And this is the crazy part. Like, there's a silver lining for Will Smith is he's become a sympathetic character. Like, he was finished. There's no coming back necessarily from what he did. On the night that he did it, in the way that he did it, he was done. She's now made him a sympathetic. Everyone's kind of rooting for Will. Because you're like, God damn, no wonder you hit Chris Rock. We're surprised you didn't fucking pull out a revolver and shoot him point blank in the head and then shoot yourself in the head right after.
Like,
this is what you've been dealing with?
Yeah, it was insult to injury. His life being ruined by her. Hey, he's participating. Again, like you said, no boundaries. It's his fault. At the end of the day,
All of it's his fault. Yep.
Not 0% her fault. It's like getting in a cage with a scorpion. You can get out of the cage or the jar, but you're in it. She's a scorpion in this example. He's choosing to stay in the fucking jar. You know what I mean? Just you can leave.
I guess the last point that we can touch on with this too, and this is what's a little bit frustrating. Again, to not make this one-sided. This is not just like us hating on Jada. We're not going to join the crowd and just bury her. She's burying herself. We don't even need to. She put a book out. She's making some money off this. She's going to be able to take care of herself and her family probably from these book sales and these promotions. Like, you can't be mad at Conor McGregor for saying all kinds of wild shit to promote a fight so he can make money, and then be mad at Jada Pinkett Smith for being out of hand with her promotion. This is just all promotion. It sucks that it comes at the expense of her partner. Imagine like Conor McGregor like tearing down his wife in order to promote a fight. Right. He tears down other people's wives, but not his own wife, right? But the thing that she's come on to a lot of these, if you hear them in the sound bites and watch her interviews, and this is what's a little bit upsetting. She's said on multiple occasions now, she's doing this to show how she's healed, how she's dealt with these things in her life, to be an inspiration to other people. Sorry, but bitch, this ain't healing. You don't heal by tearing down someone else. You owe your husband an amends. And you can make the argument that he owes you an amends. And you make those amends in private and you heal. You've decided to put all this shit out there, ruin your image and his image in the process. Don't fucking hide behind a shield of healing. She does look nice with hair, though.
Say it again.
She does look cute with hair, actually.
Yeah, with long hair, yeah.
Super hot, yeah. Look at her, goddamn. No wonder, Will, we forgot. Until she looked like Dr. Evil.
Yeah. Why did she shave her hair for a reason, or is there something?
She has alopecia. She has some issue with she can't grow out her hair. I don't know all the details. Everyone's gonna bury us since we don't know the details. We're not here to talk about hair loss. I'm not an expert. Despite what you see, go fuck yourselves. But yeah, I'm not really about alopecia. She said Tupac had alopecia. Like, let him. Tupac was her soulmate. Like, let Tupac just rest in peace. Have you seen the meme where it's like Tupac's come back from Cuba just to tell Jada Pinkett Smith to shut the fuck up?
Dude, this is, I mean, I heard Rolo talk about this recently too, but this is like the most classic example of the alpha widow. Like the girl that dated the alpha male back in the day, and she's tasted that like alpha energy, and then now she's dating the beta male, but she takes out all this resentment of like what she knew it could be like on the new man she's with, but she also chooses to be with the new man.
It's funny how our analogies have been scorpion and widow. Right, almost without, and I know you meant like the widow, not Black Widow, but hey,
yes, it
is serendipitously what has come to be here. So
exactly.
On that note, Will, get out of the fucking scorpion jar.
Yes. I wish we could think of a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reference to like.
Have you seen the meme where it's like, who hurt Will more, his father in Fresh Prince that like abandoned him, or Jada?
Oh, no,
it's one of the worst. It's brutal.
This one right here. No,
it's
no. Man, yeah, this is just.
Yeah, there it is.
Go. Is that the OG?
This is supposed to be his father in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah. Yeah, his bio father in the show.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate you checking out the podcast. If you're interested in building up your Instagram profile, or if you've ever wondered what an expert would say about your profile, what we do is we record a video of us breaking down your Instagram page, showing you what's working, what's not working, what can be improved, and then we send it back to you completely for free. Just hit the link in the description for a completely free Instagram audit from me and my team.
So earlier this week, Corey, you released a reel. And at the beginning of that reel was a soundbite from Mr. Wonderful. For those that don't know, you want to just give some quick context to who Mr. Wonderful is?
Sure. Entrepreneur, multiple business owner, investor. He's on Shark Tank. His net worth is like 400 million plus. So he's very experienced in investing in businesses, growing them, scaling them.
Now, here's the interesting thing about Mr. Wonderful too, and this is relevant to what we're going to discuss. He's not a young guy. for the audience like watching, like this is kind of like this is your dad's age, like he's not a young dude. This is the man that might come to you and be like, how do I order from the Amazon cart back to the shipping address? Like he might not even know about social media, but let's take a listen to what he has to say.
You don't have social media presence and you don't have the ability to execute on social, you're practically worthless because you can't acquire any customers. Social media is all about CAC, customer acquisition cost. The lower, the better. It's all social media. If you can't do it, learn how to, or you're screwed.
Thanks, Mr.
He literally called everybody worthless if they're not on Instagram. Does that not sound familiar? Do we, and not, all of the teachers within our community often say the line, if you're not on social media, you don't exist. In your experience, Corey, like, why do you think that's so important to actually have a presence online?
It's crazy. Well, CAC, cost of acquisition, is like how much does it cost you to acquire a customer? Like the lower you can make that number, especially when you're spending ads, monthly ad spend, right? The lower you can make that number, the better, the more profit you can have. So without a social media presence, how are you nurturing all these potential customers, these prospects? It doesn't matter if you're a software company, brick and mortar, agency, media buying agency, whatever it is, any business needs social media to then nurture these clients. Because the two biggest things that you want to be building in the prospect's mind that really they would choose you over other people if you build up these two things: the trust and the credibility of you as a person and what you offer, what you're selling. Are you the person they can trust and know the service is going to be done properly and well? And are you credible? Do you have experience? Do you have testimonials? Do you have referrals? Do you have proof, social proof, all this stuff? Right? Without social media, it's extremely hard to demonstrate this on a website. Yeah, it's a one page, but there's no actual long-lasting proof for years and tons of content and social proof and followers and likes and comments and all this stuff that you can see. Of the main triggers of like the cognitive biases of the brain, like Robert Cialdini, the book Influence, so one of the top 6 I think that he lists is social proof. So on social media, having tens of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands, likes, comments from other people, and showing off like testimonials of other people doing, like, either purchasing your product or using your service, whatever it is, and saying a positive, compliment about it, how well it worked for them. And especially if like they're on the fence, they can relate to that person. They also see other people doing this thing that helped them. So it encourages them to do the thing that everyone else is doing based on this like evolutionary, kind of trigger that we all have innately.
100%. And if you're running a business in the way that you described as well, what's crazy is like when we look at our business, Corey, and anyone else who's in a position where they're running a business, there's a client journey. And the journey is that what are the different places me as a prospect I'm going to go to learn about you before I buy. And if you track your client journey, what are you going to find? They go to a lot of places. In other words, what's the technical term? There's a lot of touch points, right? What's cool about social media is we provide through social media a limitless amount of touch points. Just think about this. You have your page open right now, right? Let's say I'm exploring the idea of whether or not I'd want to work with you as a prospect that doesn't know much about you. I could go to your website, which is great. But what happens when you add a new piece of content to your website? I'm not going to fucking know because I went to your website maybe once or twice. When I follow you, it's literally put in my face. And if instead I come to your social media, just look at what's in your social media right now. I'm considering working with you. What's the first video that I see? Massive amounts of social proof with an influencer with 6 million followers that's super well known, which is Tarzan, right? Then as I scroll more through your content, I get to know you, your personality, what you have to offer. Literally, there are dozens and dozens and hundreds in your case with your page of touch points here. Not to mention all the highlights, not to mention the daily stories that you put out.
Right.
But in the absence of this, what do you have as a touch point? Your website, an email marketing campaign. How much is actually left on the table?
Yeah, exactly. And then most businesses, what's the fact or the stat, how many businesses fail out of 10? It's 8 or 9, right?
Yeah,
nine out of 10
say
fail.
80, 90%, yeah.
It's I mean, it's probably for a lot of reasons, but this is probably one of the number one reasons. Acquiring new customers at a very low cost. Because how do most businesses do it? They don't really know how to run ads. They have a website that's not really that good. It's not a funnel. It's a homepage that like doesn't tell anybody to do anything. And they probably have no social media, or they have some random kind of cheesy. They don't really put too much time into it. And what do you think about Sean? Because I've run into a bunch of these people in the past because I would build up their IGs and run ads like a long time ago for brick and mortar companies, and it would always be a older like gentleman, like you said, like a boomer kind of type of anywhere from 45 to 60, maybe a little bit older. They know they need social media, but they also hate it at the same time. Yeah. So there's resentment towards it. Do you know what I mean? So they know they want to build up their presence on social media. They know they need to, but especially men. They're like, yeah, but I hate it. I don't want to do it. Have you ever found that to kind of like, especially for men?
Oh my God.
But older men.
All the time.
When they have that, all the time. Yeah. Like what are some of the things they say? Like, I don't like doing it. Or
it's like this is kind of a funny analogy, but like it's what people sounded like when they were like, I don't know about the TV when you're used to radio. It sounds silly now, but it's like, oh, I don't know about Elvis shaking his hips. Like with enough time, that's a silly comment. It's already a silly comment to be like, well, I hate that social media. So yeah, they'll say things like, to answer the question, it's like, I hate how superficial it is. I don't want my life to be consumed by social media. What did Homeboy say? I don't want the person to be swayed by social media. I want them to be swayed by me.
Yeah, mind-blowing.
The fuck does that even mean? Right? And the issue is, social media is dangerous. It's like a samurai sword. Bro, you give me a samurai sword, I'm not hurting someone else. I'm probably gonna cut my fucking knee off somehow. I'm gonna slice a body part of my own off because I'm not trained to use it. Why would we think social media is not like a samurai sword? You just imagine me slicing some shit up. We're like, yeah, why is social media not viewed as that way? Well, because no one tells you that you need training for it. Otherwise, you're gonna hurt yourself. And we know what that looks like. We know people that spend all day just scrolling through IG being consumers. But when you're trained to use social media, I mean, look at the people like Gary Vaynerchuk, like one of the early kind of pioneers of it. Look at like Tarzan, who we just spoke about, right? Think about like what Tarzan does and has done. He has a love for animals, and he made himself into a superstar through social media, right? He made himself into a superstar through it. And being able to do that, is massively great for his business, but he trained himself on how to use social media. And as a result, you think he walks around and goes, like, think about it, man. Everyone we know that makes millions of dollars from their social media, do you think they walk around and say what the boomers say? Of course not. They don't go, oh, it's superficial. They might say, hey, it's superficial. Yeah, but I'm not being consumed by it. I'm trained to use it. That's like a samurai going, the sword is sharp. I don't want to use it because it can really hurt me. Well, if you're trained, it won't hurt you.
Right. Makes sense. And just like you said, the consumer too, as well, to add on to that, like most people are consumers of social media. That's why they hate the feeling of, they don't like it. I mean, there's multiple reasons why they don't like it, but they think of it in a consumer mindset perspective, where it's like, I don't want to go on there and just like look at other people and like scroll my feed endlessly. They don't think of it as a producer mindset at all. Right? They're not thinking of it as like putting content out to then affect other people in a positive way towards you to get them to take a desired action. Right? In this case, sales for your business. Which if you don't want to make sales and you own a business, like you don't deserve to own a business then. You shouldn't own a business then. Yeah, it returns back to this idea of like, hey, social media is a tool. You have to be trained to use it. Because what's the other thing that happens? People here not ours, but people will hear this advice in general. Don't be a consumer, be a producer. But they don't know how to produce. So they'll throw some shit up into Instagram. And Instagram is getting harder and harder with every passing year. And they don't get any results from it. So they go, I suck. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll never be successful at this. And social media is ruining my life. No, you don't suck. You just haven't been trained. You have to it's like throwing you into a jiu-jitsu match or tournament and you getting tapped and you're like, I suck. You don't suck as a human being. You've never trained jiu-jitsu.
Like, I know this sounds silly and simple.
That was perfect. It's like going to a BJJ fight, fighting a black belt, and then saying BJJ doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you post on social media.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk told me to do 6 reels a day. But like, you do the reels, your reels are terrible because you haven't been trained. It's not because you're not good.
Right.
You're not even a white belt yet. You haven't even entered the dojo. When you enter a dojo, you're inherently there for training. You're going to a mentor to get help and assistance. How can you be good at something without help and assistance? For this last segment, we want to give some pragmatic advice because today's been awesome. We've talked about what it looks like to have your life ruined by your partner, aka Dr. Evil. It's funny the names that have come up today. Dr. Evil, Mr. Wonderful. Like, it's been a fucking roller coaster.
Widows.
Yeah, Scorpions and Black Widows. We have a thing, oh, dude, we should definitely do this. So, you know, in the mentoring calls, Corey, we have a thing where we'll, if anyone's ever seen Ozark, they start every episode with 4 images. We started doing that with emojis to end our mentoring calls based on what we were covering. We should do this for these podcasts. And right now it would be Dr. Evil, a Scorpion, and a Black Widow. And we'll see what the
Thumbnail.
4th one will end up being. That's the thumbnail, exactly. All right, so pragmatic advice. Look, we talked about the importance of having a brand, but we don't want to just leave you guys without giving you some feedback on things that are practical and pragmatic. In the future, what we want to really do is bring in the viewers of this podcast and really bring on your questions. But right now, we have questions from within our community, and so we want to jump into those. Corey, I guess what's the first question that you see that could be of some value to answer?
All right, so first question comes from Will. He says, what are the differences in how you take the photos for dating apps from status photos? I noticed the first photo that does well from others and on apps is usually a waist-up shot, not typically far-off wide shots. My photos on Photo Feeler get notes feedback that they're too far away since they're full body. So what Will's trying to say is he's asking what kind of photos are the best for dating apps. What's like the best first photo there? And he's noticed through some feedback from Photo Feeler, which is a site that girls can rate your photos based on a few traits or attributes. He's noticed that some of his photos that you put up there, the wide ones that are at least pretty far away from the camera, the feedback on the photo is that he's too far away from the camera.
And to add some context too, for maybe people that are completely new to the community, what we try to do with our Instagram is more of these like wide shots that showcase our lifestyle. But like, why is that really important? So if you guys look, people that like, I hired a professional photographer and he took some dating app photos. And then it's like, we call those the JCPenney photos. You look like a JCPenney fucking model. You look like you put on some clothes from the Gap and went out and did a photo shoot, right? It's cheesy as fuck because you're not a model, right? We don't want to depict our life in a way that makes us look cheesy, inauthentic, and fake. There it is. This is what you look like. Your outfit cost probably $8. You bought it at Ross or JCPenney, and the photo makes you look super low status. So the reason that's the issue, right, is because we're not trying to pretend to be models. What we're doing is we're showcasing our lifestyle in a really, really cool way. So when we take that photo, Corey, you had it up before, like the one at the $25 million mansion. If you zoom in on that photo like that, I look like an idiot, and the whole thing is ruined. Because look, this is ridiculous. But when it's a wide shot, it shows the location as well as me. But when you put person, a high status location with the character, now you have a lifestyle photo. And lifestyle photos are the photos that crush. You ever seen the ones, Corey, where they do, where like they're just in like an alleyway and they put their foot up and they lean back like they're in the movie Grease, and like John Travolta, and they just like lean back and like smile, like a candid smile, but it's not, you're not smiling at anything. The photographer just said big smile. That's right. Before he took the picture.
It's like a Breakfast Club photo, but they're in the alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this. Like, yeah, exactly. That's it. With the fucking locker room. This is what you guys look like. This may have been cool at one point. It's 2023, about to be 2024. Right?
Yeah.
Halloween? Yes.
Nailed it.
Getting women? No. So yeah, so like the what now? So now that context is there too, Corey, what is your thought process when it comes to deciding what of your high status Instagram photos you want to include potentially
Sure.
in your dating app.
For sure. Okay, let's just add real quick.
Oh my
Before we
God.
go into it, do you remember back in the day, like 2016, 17, the inner circles in each city?
Yep.
There was always one guy who had a camera. It was like a stock camera, $300 camera, and he would just every day, I'm doing photo shoots for the guys, photo shoots for the guys, photo shoots for the guys. He would
Look at
charge
Tinder
like
profiles.
yeah, and he
Yeah.
would take photos like this, where it's like, let's go to a park, wear your nicest button-down sweater that you've never worn, that's in your closet for a good reason. I have a guitar and I have a puppy. Let's take some photos in a park, on a park bench, right? And then people just still post it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So,
With the book. What's going
like we see these photos all the time. This guy's just holding a puppy in his hand, smiling at the camera in a park, the nearby park. No status. Clearly, is not his dog.
The girls are going to say someone called animal control. This man has kidnapped someone's dog for a photo.
He doesn't know how to hold a dog either. But they're going to be like, he's super cute. Is he yours? Because they're immediately going to challenge, like, what is this your dog? You're just using it to force discomfort, which is fake. And then the guy never thinks of a thing to say back to that, so he always just fails, right? They literally fails right there every time. It's so cute. Is that your dog?
Yeah.
Guy's like, no, it's not mine. You're already disqualified. Like you're literally faking. You're trying to fake that.
You're a serial killer now.
Yeah, you're stealing
Serial
dogs.
killer. It is good for guys to understand, like, why do people even do this in the first place? So the idea back in the day was like, if I get a candid photo and it's high quality, with say a good camera, decent lens, shallow depth of field, that quality is going to make me look more like stand out from the crowd. Like, this is better than the bathroom selfie. Definitely is, right? Better than the bathroom selfie.
Yep.
The problem though is that it's not showcasing lifestyle. Like, lifestyle is where the attraction happens. Lifestyle, not the staged JCPenney photo, right? Because here, this man looks like he would be an advertisement in his pose, his setting for Ross.
Yep.
TJ Maxx. Yeah. So, like, while the photography is nice, like, if this man's getting married, if it's a Christmas card, these are all great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Christmas card is fantastic. Yeah. You want to send this to your mom that you maybe see once or twice a year because you're in college. This is great. Send this. Like, come on. Like, what mom doesn't want to see? You look so good,
Look,
honey.
my son, he's
Oh, you're
doing so well.
handsome.
He's wearing a sweater I got him for Christmas.
handsome. Yeah. They're like, so what? Like, what are the photos that crush? The photos that crush are high status lifestyle photos. High status lifestyle photos. So we still do the quality too, but we showcase the lifestyle. Sorry, were you gonna say?
Sorry, before we ended on like what to do, let's just talk about this more. Because when we're taking photos of, I don't know why I keep freaking scrolling. What's the highlight of the photo here? What's the subject? What's the main focus of these photos here? The man, the person, the man's face, and his like fashion, his beauty, his radiance, his
Showing a little ankle.
You see the ankle
like,
showing?
all right.
Like, that's crazy. He's rolling up the sleeves too.
All right.
No man understands this. What's the dynamic you're implying on your either your IG feed, which is your brand you're building, or your dating app when you show a photo like this? You're showing that I think you really care about my appearance. And we're already falling into the trap of like the blue pill Will Smith trap. Girls do not care about your fucking appearance. So if you're showing off your beauty as if that matters at all, you're already on the wrong frame, already in the wrong dynamic, as if girls would care
You
about
don't understand women.
Not at all. Like, and you're demonstrating that through one photo. You ever see these men facial routines and they're showing the preening themselves, how much time they spend in their outfits, and everything's ironed and it's all like their hair is perfect. Those are feminine men the girls are not attracted to at all. There's no polarizing masculine feminine there. The girl wants to be seen as the beautiful one, the feminine one, the one admired for beauty, not the man at all. So you're already saying I'm going to be prioritizing my beauty in the relationship more than you. I'm going to be showing more attention to my face, my beauty.
God.
Like, think of bodybuilders. Like, you know, when girls date like very attractive bodybuilders, their whole life is how they look. Especially if they compete NPC, their whole life is how they look. They're focused on what they look like, their striations, their hamstring tie into their glute, all this, and nothing goes to the female as far as the attention. And girls hate it, literally hate it. So we're already showing off the horrible dynamic on the first photo when you're showing off a Tinder photo shoot or JCPenney photo, like we call it.
So then conversely, when we do the lifestyle photos and we show off, yes, we're still a character in it, but we show off the lifestyle, what we're basically then setting the frame is, I do dope shit.
Yep.
And I am dope. I'm dope and I do dope shit, which is far more attractive than, look at me, look how pretty I am in the photo.
Exactly.
So I guess back to the original question then, is like, cool. if a guy understands the difference between lifestyle photos and the JCPenney dating app, Tinder, ruin your life, have no chance, end up like Will Smith photos, if we understand the difference between the two of those, how do you then determine, Corey, from your high status lifestyle photos, how do you determine what you're going to use for the dating apps?
So you want to show off the lifestyle photo still? Because the girl just wants to check a box. Is he hideous? Is he massively overweight? If she sees that within the first photo, but it's also not just like a close-up of your face, then you check the box like this guy's dateable as far as like a physical appearance. Because your appearance does matter to a certain degree, not even close to what men think it does.
Exactly.
Because when you look at a girl, you're like, do I like her or not? Is she hot or not? Is it yes or no? When a girl looks at a guy, she's like, yeah, he's handsome, but like, what else has he got? How does he speak? What is his status level? Who are his friends? Who does he know? What does he do? Competency. Is he good at things? Skills? Can he carry a conversation? Is he going to make me feel good and validated, reassured? All that kind of stuff. So the appearance doesn't really matter that much, but we still have to show off what you look like. One of the best kind of frameworks to follow here. It's still a lifestyle photo. We're in New York City, across from Radio City Music Hall. It's like the OG PBCP ledge. Like everyone takes a photo here, right?
The trademark ledge.
Yes. It's a bit closer than we usually would take a photo, but on purpose, because now they can see your full body, your face very well. It's not too far away from the camera, but you also can see that it's a lifestyle photo still. You're still outside doing something, potentially some nice city. If anybody knows New York very well, the financial district around like Billionaires Row near Central Park, this is what every building looks like essentially. So they can recognize the area, assuming that you're in cool places, around cool people, doing cool things. Anybody who's posing nice, high quality photos in a nice part of the area of the city, you can assume a lot of positive things from that, from as far as like who they interact with, their friends are, what they do every night, what they do for a living. It's a lot of honest signals in that photo if you do take it in this kind of, structured way.
Yeah, and so in this exact way, like Corey, how you just described, we're able to take the photos, because I think this is a big key point that you made too, is appearance matters to a certain extent. Most men project their own insecurity to thinking, I just don't look good enough. I just don't look good enough. And then there's all these studies that come out about dating apps, like small percentage of guys get swiped on, and everyone just goes, okay, those are the guys that are the most attractive, most handsome, most good looking, right? That's not the case. Yes, if you are not dressed well and you're very overweight, it's going to be very difficult to recover for something like that, right? Mm-hmm. If you look like shit, and looking like shit is really a choice. It's not genetics. Your height is not a choice. Whether or not you look like shit is going to be more about the choices you made and what you wore that day, and your posture, your body language, your posing. And you guys know what's nuts? Today, we have a tool at our disposal that allows us to present ourselves in a way that makes more impact and creates more attractiveness and attraction in general than ever before. Think about before you had the advent of social media. Like, what did you have at your disposal? It was like your verbal game. Sure, things like social proof, pre-selection, that's always kind of been the case. But you have a tool, a mechanism at your disposal now through your personal brand to actually control your optics. How fucking dope is that? You can control your optics. You get to choose you don't get to choose your height. You don't get to choose your ethnicity. You don't get to choose many things, but you have an array of things that you get to choose how you present yourself, the clothes that you wear. You get to choose whether or not you try to strive to be in shape. Right? You get to choose the locations that you go to, the photos that you take, the way you color grade your photo. You get to choose the way you write your captions. You get to choose the way that you document your life in your IG stories. We went pretty big picture, Corey, from what was just a kind of basic question about the dating apps, but it's actually a great point to end on. If we look back at through the whole spectrum of today's call, I think we can have some big takeaways. Number one, if you're Will Smith, Stop it. Stop it.
Get some help.
If you guys don't know, which reel is it in, Corey? I want to know.
It's on almost all of them now.
Stop it. Don't put yourself in a jar with a scorpion or a black widow. Number two, don't let Mr. Wonderful, who should be a boomer, be telling you to be on social media. You should know that by now. If this podcast does anything, it should give you the motivation and inspiration to start branding yourself. Because as we covered, especially in this last segment, there are so many benefits to controlling your optics, controlling your narrative. And it's time to start taking action on it if you haven't. And so until next time, build your brand, crush it, and we'll see you guys again soon.
Peace, guys. I appreciate you checking out the podcast. Make sure you hit like and subscribe below so you don't miss any more content like this. We'll see you soon. Peace.